welcome to Powerline. I'm your host Skyknight, and today we have a deck profile. Now, I've been working on this one for quite some time, I'll be honest, because I didn't really know how to build this. I didn't know if I wanted to make it competitive, I didn't know if I wanted to make it casual. So, I have for you Zeal, the Legion, but primarily within a stride format. Now, it's kind of awkward, at least to me, because it focuses on the power down mechanic that the monsters have for Dimension Police. However, it this mechanic has been done better in Murakumo with Shiryuki. So I didn't really understand, especially for it to work on your opponent's turn with the new era Beast deal. But I'll show you how the deck looks, and you can place your judgments in the comments. So without further ado, Zeal. Starting from the top, grade 3s. Usually I start from the bottom, but if the deck is about the grade 3s, and we might as well start there. So I run 4 and 4 of both Zeals, regular, Limit Break, and Legion. You have to run these if it's going to be a Zeal deck, obvi. Really not much to say about it. Like, regular Zeal's cost is -2, and your opponent's Vanguard gets -1,000 for each one of your rear guards. So, that's only 5. And then, new era B Zeal is Legion. When you take a point of damage, and your Vanguard's in Legion, you counterblast 1, and you choose one of your opponent's units, and that unit gets -1,000 for each card on your Vanguard and Rearguard. So with the full field, they get -7k, which, when you really look at it, it is kind of helpful when you're trying to take numbers from other attacks. So let's say a Rearguard comes swinging in for like 16, but you've already taken your opponent's Vanguard's damage. You do that, and you have a full field. You give that Rearguard -7, so instead of it swinging in for 16, -7, they swing in for a much smaller number, which you're able to deal with, which is very helpful and manageable. So I guess when you're in Legion, this works, especially playing in Stride format. The problem that this thing had in Legion format was keeping up a full field, especially with those control decks, and just trying to have this card proc on your turn, which you would use as self-damagers. But that would just create some problems all in itself. So those are the two grade 3s. For the grade 2s, I run this card, 4 copies. 4 copies of Fusion Monster Bugreed. When this unit attacks a Vanguard, and I have a Dimension Police Vanguard, and if it's battling an opponent with 8k or less power, when it hits, I draw a card. Now this is supposed to help with the early game, to help generate some advantage, especially when you're doing the ride chain for Zeal, because when you ride 1 to 2 and 2 to 3, your opponent gets -3k each. So on those turns, you'll definitely be able to hit the threshold for this card too. Right? It is an AK card. However, you're drawing a card for free just by meeting a condition. Next, I run 3 copies of the 11k attacker. If my opponent's Vanguard is under 8k, this gets +3k until the end of turn. And then lastly, 4 copies of the Train Ride. As I said, when it rides, when 2 to 3, you choose one of your opponent's Vanguards, and it gets -3k, bringing it back down to 11k if it's 11k Vanguard, or 7k if it's a 10k Vanguard. Nothing too special there. For the grade 1s, this is where things get unique. I run 3 stride enablers because I want to continue to stride in the deck. I want, like, because I need to provide some offensive power. I can't do it in Legion. I'll be honest. I really can't do it in Legion. Swinging at Legion alone isn't really plus, especially since regular Zeal's counterblast 2 for the ability is kind of hefty, and there's no real way to unflip damage in this deck. Look, yeah, the second ability off of the new Zeal, if it hits, Soul Charge 1, and choose a card from your damage on turn and face up. But your opponent also has to be an AK power. So there's a lot you have to jump through in order to get there. So I'll show you which strides that I'm primarily going to be running in the deck with that. 4 perfect guards and flippers. It helps. It helps a lot. The 10k attackers, when your opponent's Vanguard's power is 8k or less. And 4 copies of the chain ride at grade 1. When this one rides the 0, I search for a grade 2 or grade 3 Zeal, add to my hand. Now some of you are wondering, why aren't you running Devane? And that's a very good question. Devane, as awesome as it may seem, doesn't actually fit in the deck. Especially now that I'm in Stride format, and I don't really want to play in the Legion era. Devane's kind of counterproductive because if I'm sitting on a Stride, I play a Devane. I technically, I don't even go down. I can't even use Devane if we're being real. I mean, it'll help during the other rides, but pretty much Devane was used just to either A, siphon out the Zeals, the grade 1s out of your deck early game, or B, search for the new Zeal to re-ride to keep cycling back the Legion and getting the triggers back in. So, it has a particular purpose, just not in this format. Starter, chain ride. I run 4 heals of my favorite, you guys know. 4 draws of my favorite, because you guys already know. And this is where things get interesting. I run 8 stands, and of the ability stands. Now, I run the stands in this deck because A, I wanted to take advantage of my offensive turns, and I'll show you which card I'm using for my offensive turns. It's one of the strides. I really do like it, but I want to take advantage of it. That's why I run the stands. Also, this will help me with the other strides that I have in terms of hitting the power. Because if you notice, the only thing that decreases power in this whole deck is Zeal. So the strides, the strides that Dimension Police got don't exactly cater to monsters. There is Omega and Pretty Cat, but not so much really. Like every stride is more of power, and those that do not use power are specific to a different build, such as Metal Borgs and Dimensional Rebels. So I had Grand Scold, which put into the soul, choose one of your vanguards, it gets plus 4k into the end of turn. And if your power is 30k or greater, which it will be, choose another one of your units and it gets plus 4k. And then Operator Girl Rekka, put it back into your deck, choose one of your vanguards, it gets plus 4k to the end of turn. And when it attacks, if the power is 37k or greater, draw a card. So Rekka, easy to hit, especially if you have a 7k booster in the back. 30 and the Cosmic Hero Grand Scold, easy to hit because if you're on the new Zeal, it's 26 plus 4 is 30. Give something else at. So very easy to hit the numbers that you sort. Now here we go for the strides. This is where things get fun or complicated depending on how you look at it. I run 5G Guardians, 2 Patriots, 2 Caravus, It's just easy for me to run. The elements I don't really need. I run 4x gallops. This card's gonna be quite hard to hit. Just not even getting the 4K. That's minus the 4K. So if I have a 7K boost, it makes 33. I need one of those two stand triggers to push him over the edge. So I won't run into him unless I have at least one of those stand triggers. Just to get the quad drive. Not even considering that I need the unflip. The flip to give my rear guys power. Just one of the stands. If I had two stands, great. Two rogues. The stand triggers help get rogue there, or I can wait before he hits. I can get a trigger and put it on there. Tigers, because tigers are bae. Without tigers, nothing else matters. And lastly, the bread and butter of the deck. I'm mad. I just did those upside down. Hold on. Guys, I think I did those upside down. Hold on. Bam. Tigers. Bam. Bears. Horses. Oh my. And lastly, the strides. Omega. And I wanted the deck to focus on this, and this is also the thumbnail. I like Omega. I like Omega a lot. The Counterblast 2, Soul Blast 1, a little hefty, but you get something else in the soul. And primarily for Omega, the card that you want to put into the soul is the new Zeal, because it's an 11K. And on your offensive turn, which is, again, because you're striding, it'll put your opponent's Vanguard down to 0. Or your opponent's Vanguard down to 0 and their other front row, because Omega hits the front row. And this is great. It's absolutely great. Put them down to 0. Their G-Guard turns, they'll be at 15. If they have the super cool ones, they'll go to 26. And again, when you're swinging in, you're probably swinging in for 33. This is great. It's absolutely great. And primarily, I didn't want to use any real cards that eat up the counterblast. So as you saw in the deck, nothing really used counterblast except for Zeal and Gallop, and now Omega. So pretty much, like, I'm free to use Omega twice. I wish I had a third one. I don't know where it is, to be honest. But if I can, I would put in a third one and put Rogue down to 2, or Rogue down to 1. But this is the deck. This is it. This is the bread and butter. I have yet to try it out. I'll be honest, I don't think I'm going to try it out. But for the sake of the channel, I will do one. So guys, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, please leave in the comment section below. If there's any other decks you'd like us to profile, I can try to get a hold of it and have one of my buddies do it for you. Have a great day, guys.